bring him in.
The Hitman, Tony Stetson.
Hey,
what's
guys.
going on?
Hey guys, how are you guys tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Are you ready
Thank
for
you
this
for
weekend?
having me.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Pleasure
Thanks
to
for
have
taking
you, of course.
time out of your busy schedule.
Yeah, it's busy. When you're old, it doesn't matter.
Time doesn't matter or your schedule doesn't matter?
Write that down, Mundo.
Anything matters, right?
Nothing matters.
When you're old, nothing matters.
Yeah, you go with the flow.
All right, well, the flow's going to take you to the 2300 Arena this weekend, no?
Yeah. Oh, I'm ready for that flow. Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I've been ready for this for a while now. Mentally, I'm ready. Physically, it's just a matter of triggering that violence part of me, and then I'm good to go.
Oh boy. Oh no.
I'm going to bring back what we did back in the day, 34 years ago. That's, all that hardcore stuff, nothing fancy, just physical beatdowns.
Well, quick question for you.
Yep.
Since you're bringing the hardcore back, I'm a belt guy. Will you be bringing the Pennsylvania Championship with you?
Here's the funny thing with that. Well, that was ECW, but after I defended it to Tommy Cairo, then they scratched the title. That was it. It was done.
Did you happen to walk away with the belt, or
No,
somebody?
we're lucky we walked away with some pay in our pocket.
Fair point, Tony. Fair point. Oh shit.
Are you, Tony, are you surprised, like you said, 34 years later, like people still know who Tony Stetson is? Like, this is a big deal this weekend. The Rasselcon,
it's actually
ECW one and done.
Yeah, and it's actually touching, especially the whole thing with the banner. Everybody gets forgotten, no matter what you do in life, And for this to come back to life, it means something. It's touching, it's emotional, and I felt like I had to do one more match because, all right, the five of us on the banner, Joel Goodhart, who was the mastermind. Then you had DC Drake, Johnny Hotbody, Larry Winters, who passed away, God rest his soul, and me. Well, Joel was never a wrestler. DC and Johnny both had triple bypass surgeries a few years back. So I'm the only one physically capable to get in the ring. So I felt as though somebody had to represent. I mean, if our name's getting raised, somebody had to do it.
What does that mean to you? Like, you were there at the beginning of ECW, and you kind of, you were like, when I'm buying ECW tapes from our video, like Tony Stetson is like one of the first names that I see come on the screen. Like, what does that mean to you now that your name will be immortalized in the 2300 Arena, even though it's not the shithole it used to be?
No, actually, it's a beautiful building now,
unbelievable.
But it became so iconic. For it to go up now, it just, there was a time way back when, I'll never forget, it was a good 15 years ago. Maybe, I don't know, I lose track of time. Anyway, me and Hotbody were in that building. They had something going on, and we were invited to be there. And I remember Johnny saying, our name should be up there. And I says, yeah, you're right. I mean, it was frustrating because what we started, listen, we didn't take it to the levels that it's at now with concrete, the fluorescent tubes and all. What we did, and we didn't have any props. We just went out there and tore things up. When I'll never forget the first time I was scheduled to wrestle Johnny, it was in Temple's McGonigal Hall, which is the Leocorda Center now, whatever. And Johnny was so nervous. And Joel said, Johnny, I like you, but, you'll never work for me again. You're just nervous. I'm afraid you can't go out there and do what you got to do. I looked over at Hotbody. I said, John, just follow me. And we went out there and just ripped it up. That after the match, because Johnny was going to be done, they had set up an angle with Jules Strongbow for us to come back in a return Indian strap match. So we went through the whole angle. And that was going to be the next show, me and Jules. The wrestling radio show got flooded with so many phone calls the next week demanding me and Hotbody be put together again. And that's when it all started. Then you had DC Drake and Larry Winters doing their crazy stuff. And this was a time people would look at it and say, wow, what's going on? What is this? We didn't create hardcore wrestling. was it was going on down south, and God rest his soul, Bruiser Brody. Look what he did. Look what he contributed to all that stuff. We just, at the time, in this area of where we're at in Philly and all, everything was so generic. Everything, promoters say, you can't do this, you can't do that. Don't go out the ring. Don't go into the crowd. Joel gave us free liberty to do whatever we want. And that's what we did. We just went out there and did whatever we want. We didn't sit and have a powwow before we went out. If we did talk, I'll see you out there. And that's it. And then we just went to it.
How would you explain to someone a wrestling fan that might only be familiar with ECW and not necessarily Tri-State? How would you explain the legacy of Tri-State to someone that might only be familiar with ECW?
Well, the way it started was literally we definitely started the hardcore phase. And I mean, they can go on and see some of the crazy matches that they had. And every show was a blood fest. There was one big show we did that the opening bout was a 15-man last blood battle royal. So in your first match, 15 guys wind up bleeding. That's what we did. And then when Todd took over ECW, after everything went downhill, he wanted to get away from that. The first thing he did was separate me and Hotbody. But what he did was, and it's so kind of crazy that his goal was to get away from it. The first ECW match was me and Ivan Koloff. We were like the co-main event. And Todd goes up to Ivan and he says, it's our top baby face. Can you put him over by DQ? And he said, no, let him pin me clean middle of the ring. Then I'll get him with the chain. And then we do that brouhaha, hangs me over the rope. We come back in a Russian chain match. So there you go. That's certainly not, easy peasy kind of match. So it was hardcore. Then after that, he put me in a feud program with Sal Baloma when he did the Wild Man gimmick. And same thing. We would come back after working our match, and Todd was threatening to fire us all the time because we were too violent. But that's what the Philly people wanted. They wanted the blood. They wanted to see the craziness. They wanted to see wrestlers right next to them in the stands. And I'll tell you what, when me and Hotbody used to work with each other, we didn't patty cake, man. We laid everything into each other. We started that trend, plain and simple. And the funny thing is, my last night in ECW, they had changed me over. They were playing with me and Hotbody, put the straps on us, took it off. Johnny left. Johnny came back. Johnny left again. And then they changed my gimmick to the Broad Street Bully, the Flyers gimmick and all that. And it was kind of cool. And they were teasing me with an angle with Axel Rotten. He had his barbed wire bat. And I'm thinking, well, this is great. A barbed wire hockey stick. This is perfect. That never panned out. The last night in the building, I go up to Paul. I said, Paul, what do you got for me? We got nothing for you. I said, you know what, Paul? When Paul took over the book, he came up to me and Johnny Hotbody. He says, as long as I have a job, you guys will always be working here. It's what you guys started is in the direction we're taking it. I took him for his word. I knew Paul. Paul took my first promo shots back in '85. So I knew Paul before he really started his managing stuff. Paul, unfortunately, can't trust. So that last night, I'm talking to Todd in the back, and I was working other shows, for different promoters. And Tommy Dreamer comes up to me and says, oh, Tone, there's some fresh gig marks. I said, Tommy, this is when I bled for this company for nothing. His words, word for word, we have you to thank for all of this. If it wasn't for you, none of us would be here. You laid the groundwork for where we're going. I said, oh, you feel that way, Tommy? He says, everybody does. I says, then do something for me. And he shrugged his shoulders and said, what can I do? That's the business of wrestling. As tight as he was with Paulie. So I had some bitterness with ECW, especially when they grew. But you can't talk ECW without TWA. Now, there are some people who got on the ECW bandwagon later on in the years, in the mid-'90s. They don't get none of that. You got to go back. You got to go back to the people that came before you. It's one thing I was taught in this business: always respect the guys who came before you, because if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be here.
That makes
No,
sense.
absolutely. And we're on the line with Tony Hitman Stetson. He's at TWA One and Done and Rasselcon this weekend. He's actually having his last match against Michael Toglia. Did I say his name right?
Mike Tartaglia.
Tartaglia.
That's a funny story. You know the history with me and him?
No.
So here's my first meeting with Mike. We're doing a show for Joel, and I meet him. He was going to work with me. I was never one for talking backstage. We'll do this, we'll do that. And the business is so exposed. I was brought up the old kayfabe way in 85. So he says, I'm working with you. What do you want to do? I says, well, I'll talk to you when we're out there. Just don't worry about it. And I wind up, it's a shame. I look back now, I feel a little bad, but not too bad, especially now what we're going into. And I gave him such an ass kicking to the point where I head first him in a trash can loaded with garbage and all that stuff. Gave him nothing, just beat his ass. You got to pay your dues. I paid my dues breaking. I paid my dues doing WWF TV up in Poughkeepsie back in 85. I always felt a certain way that a guy, like, especially young kids today, they'll break in, have no dues paid, and wonder, I need to be a champ. I need this. People like me. Pay your dues, man. Everybody in this business has paid their dues. The Undertaker paid his dues with Bruiser Brody back in the day. I'm sure you guys seen that, and I'm sure you heard him talk about that when he was the Red Texas Red. So anyway, as I got to know Mike, we kind of bonded. So Joel decided he's going to give me him as a tag team partner. We became the Hitman. Mike was always in shape. I'll give him that. But he didn't have that desire to wrestle like me and Hotbody and Winters and Drake. He was just standoffish. He didn't like to be too physical. And I used to tell him all the time, I said, Mike, this is no joke. I mean, you got to get a little more physical. He was scared to death of Hotbody. There was a show that I was in his corner, and Hotbody was taking liberties with him left and right, just smacking him around. And this is no joke. This is legit. He comes to the corner. He says, what am I supposed to do? I says, Mike, he's bullying you. Punch him one good stiff shot in the face, and he'll stop. But he wouldn't do that. There have been shows we did together. He would be pacing back and forth. Oh, them guys are too big. They're going to hurt us. I said, Mike, will you stop? It got to the point where he was just annoying. So then fast forward, he brings back this watered down TWA in 2009. And I did a bunch of matches with Glenn Osborne and this and that. But everything was mellowed down. You couldn't bleed. You couldn't do this. You can't do that. And then he wound up opening up a school. I was one of the trainer. I was the trainer at the school. But Mike is a good businessman. But in the ring, I mean, he had mediocre talent. And I warned him in the beginning of this. I said, Mike, if you sign on for this, I said, payback's coming. I says, you drug me down back then, because if Joel didn't give me him as a partner, I would have been continuing to do single stuff. And Drake was the champ at the time. I was having matches with him. So now I told him, I says, flat out, I says, this ain't going to be no walk in the park. I'm not going to go out my last match ever and look like crap. Ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. Because it's in that building that's special to me. That's the building Johnny Hotbody found. And that became the ECW Arena. So going into the Saturday, as guys say in sports, I'm going to leave it all in the ring. That's it. He's getting everything. And it's not about reversing holds. This is about just bringing back the original violence which I was known for in 1990-91, bringing it back to Saturday.
So you're waking up choosing violence that day.
100%. I choose violence from the moment I signed on to this. Yeah, I had tucked it away for so long. I needed to come out one more time.
I'm kind of excited for this. I'm not going to lie to you.
And one thing I don't want when people leave that building that night and say, What was the best match? And I got a couple ideas. It's probably going to be like Chris Wilde and Breaker Morant or Tessa and Samantha. But I don't want anybody to say, "Oh, what was the worst match?" It ain't going to be mine. I'm telling you that from now. People just, it might be a pure beat down, but it's going to be legit and it's going to be for real.
We talk about your time in ECW and TWA, like you and Tony were kind of, not you and Tony, you and Johnny Hotbody were tied to at the hip. You did the hair versus hair, you did your barbed wire matches. Like when you get to ECW and Paulie takes over and it starts to gain some traction, did a lot of people come to you guys like how do we do this? Like Axel Rotten and Ian are having like Taipei death matches.
No, that I think. Well, here's the thing. I'm sorry to cut you off. The thing is, with Ian and Axel's feud, that was supposed to be me and Johnny's feud. When Paulie brought us back the last time, little by little each week, we were kind of having some, disputes with each other. And he says, people are buying into this. When the time is right, I'm going to just split you guys up and you're going to just have a run. Johnny didn't want to wait, or I think Johnny had a big blowout with Paul. So that feud Axel and Ian did was actually me and Johnny's feud. So, and you see what they got out of that. And I respect them guys for doing what they did. Hey, they had an opportunity. They took the ball and ran with it. That's what you got to do.
You hear all the stories about the locker room there. Like, what's the craziest thing you ever saw in that ECW locker room?
When I was there, I used to always pretty much keep to myself. I didn't pay much mind to nobody else. I think the craziness really escalated after I left from the stories I was told. And in a way, I'm thankful because unfortunately I have an addictive personality and I would have slipped right into that nonsense. And who knows? I mean, you see so many stories of guys dying young. I could have been one of them. So in a way, hey, we didn't make the money that we should have with the other guys, but then a lot of them guys got bounce checks anyway. But it is what it is.
When you have an event like this, I'm sorry, Matt.
Go ahead.
So when you have an event like this, there's a convention and a wrestling show. What part of that day are you looking forward to more? Do you appreciate the interaction with the fans at the convention, or do you more value the stuff that you're going to be doing in the ring?
It's kind of like split. I like that afternoon thing. I'm looking forward to seeing people that used to come to the shows back in the day, people you haven't seen for over 30 years. That's exciting. It's definitely going to be a long day. But then once it comes to time for the show to go on, that's just a whole different level of excitement. But I'm excited for both, actually.
Should have included the after party in that conversation as well.
Yeah, well, I'm actually sober, so
I know. I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I knew that. I was just filming.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's an after party for anybody with tickets.
You can go watch other people make idiots out of themselves.
Yeah. Oh, I could be around people drinking. It doesn't bother me. It depends how tired my wife is at the time.
And you would, I don't want to repeat, but I think you said Breaker Morant and Chris Wilde. But is that the match you're most looking forward to?
Yeah, that's
out of your own.
There. Here's the thing with this, and Joel said this numerous times. He calls Breaker Morant and Chris Wilde the modern day Drake winners, the modern day Stetson Hotbody. I've seen some of their matches, and they just got this chemistry. They got this aggressiveness. They're going to tear it up. They're definitely going to tear it up. And I respect the both of them. I actually was helpful in breaking in Breaker Morant back in I think it was 2000 when I first met him. And he's a great guy. Chris Wilde's a great guy. I wish them both the best.
It's been a little while since you've been in a wrestling ring, right? Did you miss it?
It's funny. I don't watch nothing. I'll see clips, when you're scrolling social media, it's flooded. I've always missed being in the ring. I'd never missed the nonsense behind the scenes because it's all political stuff. And going back to the original TWA, there was never that in TWA. ECW was a ton of it. But I do miss being in the ring. The ring always felt like home to me.
Is there somebody you're looking forward to the most at seeing this weekend?
Yeah, actually, Tommy Cairo. Tommy Cairo lost his leg a year ago. We've been out of touch, and I got utmost respect for Tommy. We had some good matches over the years.
I gotta ask Tony, because we ask all our guests, when we go through this crazy show. And you said at the beginning of the show, you're old, you don't give a shit anymore. When was the last time you shit your pants, Tony?
I think I was 3 months old.
Oh, come on. Really?
Oh, boo.
Now, I'm not talking about like a log. We're talking about a shirt here.
What, in the ring?
No, just in like
anywhere in the ring.
In the
Yeah.
ring in general, yeah.
Listen, I may be old, but at least I control of my bodily functions. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, but never like thought it was like a fart and really forced it out, and then a little.
No,
something
because
extra.
if I had that feeling, I make sure I go to the bathroom first, because you never assume.
Yeah, but sometimes it sneaks up on you.
What's that?
Sometimes it sneaks up on you.
Well, I hate to disappoint you guys. I'm good. I'm sorry if I didn't give you the right answer.
Sour grapes.
Basically, we were
from the
forcing you to
guys.
lie about it. Basically, what we were just trying to do.
Yeah.
Okay, well let me flip it. Were you ever in the ring with somebody else who did that?
No, thank God, no.
Like Tommy Cairo fucking took an atomic drop and let his fucking dinner out on the canvas?
No. I never had that wonderful opportunity to experience that, and I'm glad I didn't. I mean, I've heard so many horror stories, but yeah, no, I'm good. Never did it, never wrestled anybody that did it.
Any concerns about this weekend?
About doing it? No, I think I'm good.
Stay away from them hot dogs, bro, before you get in the ring.
No, I don't do hot dogs. No, I'm good.
You don't wait. Hold on.
What?
You don't eat hot dogs?
Not regularly. I have to be in a mood. Maybe once a year I'll say I go for a couple hot dogs.
Really?
You think? First of all, anybody who would eat a hot dog before going in the rings got some mental issues. There's certain things you eat and you don't eat before you go to. Like, would you eat a big bowl of chili before you go wrestle? No.
Yeah, he would. 100%.
Yeah. See.
Oh, so probably.
No, I still have enough sense left in my head that I know what to eat, what not to eat.
You got a hot dog spot you like, or are we just talking like?
I'm not a hot dog guy.
Are you like a Philly guy? You do the cheesesteaks?
I'm not a big Philly cheesesteak guy.
You a Taylor ham guy? Sorry, pork roll.
No, okay, boy, I tell you, boy, you're firing me up now.
That'll do it.
Fuck yeah!
No, pork roll, is that even meat? What is pork roll?
It's pork and it's a roll. I mean, it's like bologna. Is bologna meat?
Yeah.
It's like,
what's spam? Do you eat spam?
No, I hate spam. Spam's gross.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, I like to eat good food.
Yeah, but Taylor ham's delicious. You get a little fried egg on there, a little cheese.
No,
get it on bagels.
If you're going to do any kind of egg and meat, you do steak and eggs. That's not pork roll.
Now, are we talking like a strip steak kind of thing, or are we talking like a cheese steak chopped up like?
No, like a sirloin. I mean, if you can afford for breakfast filet and eggs, you can't beat that. But it's not my budget.
What is your go-to meal? Like, what is your favorite meal? Now that we're on this weird train,
my favorite is filet. Unfortunately, it's not often.
Yeah.
My go-to, I'm a big pizza guy. Always like pizza, and you can't go wrong with pizza.
Nope, never.
No.
Where's your spot? Like, if you had to recommend, folks, where's your spot?
There's a couple spots in South Philly. One's called City Pizza, and then there's another place that I haven't been there in years, but they made a comeback called the Pizza Shack. There are a couple good spots. Everybody raves about this new spot, Angelo's. They've been hot and heavy for a couple years now. They're like kind of more towards Center City. Yeah, there's a lot of good pizza spots in Philly.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a pizza spot story in Philly?
Yeah.
One of the first times I went to the ECW Arena, you get there fucking early, you wait in line like a fucking dummy out in the fucking cold. I had to take a piss. There's nowhere to piss, so we fucking walk to some pizza joint. And they like go in the basement, like there's a bathroom in the basement. So I went downstairs and I couldn't find a light, so I just fucking pissed all over the fucking place.
Well, at least you're pissed, right? That's good.
Yeah.
You
Well, I
relieved
mean,
yourself.
I'm from North Jersey, so that's how I feel about Philadelphia.
Wow, Bay didn't tell me you guys are going to be busting my balls on this stuff.
They didn't give me a heads up. He gave
No,
the maniac Glenn Osborne and I bust Joe Goodhart had a fucking nasty Phillies jersey hanging up, and I broke his balls about it.
Wow. Yeah. Bay didn't tell me nothing then. Wow.
That's fucking
I'll see him in a couple days.
Yeah, I kicked him right in his dick hole. He didn't even give you a warning. Come on, Bay.
Nothing. All he said, he would send me, okay, this is this tonight, this Shining Wizards. I said, and I would just say, okay. Yeah, I have to give a call later tonight. Huh?
You doing a lot of media?
Yeah, I think this is the last one that I'm scheduled to do. I did quite a few.
Forever?
No, guy wants. No. Well, after this, I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I might just move out the country. Yeah, you guys are. Whew, wow, boy.
You try to have a good time.
Yeah, that's cool.
Trying to have
I should have realized hearing you guys when I was backstage. I'm thinking these guys are friggin' out of their mind. But that's cool.
Well,
I saw some of the stuff you did with PW Insider and Mike Johnson and those guys.
Yeah.
So that was a good listen, good read. So
Thanks, appreciate it. See, that was nice.
Yeah, and Double T over here was the last one who actually shit his pants as part of the show.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, it was you.
Wow.
The last two, I think.
Yeah, probably the last two.
Oh,
Also, the only one to do his laundry in a porta potty.
Oh yeah.
No. I didn't do my laundry.
That's wow.
He salvaged his shitty underwear in a sink in a porta potty.
I didn't use
And he
this
still has them in rotation in his house.
Wow.
His wife's delicates were in the wash with his fucking
No.
shit fucking
Me and my
underwear.
wife, we don't mix our laundry. We've had this.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Wow.
this guy just said that he didn't realize how big a ball buster you were. Then you guys go on about that.
Yeah.
They're not busting
And I'm
his balls, they're
surprised.
busting my balls.
Wait, are you still married?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
I don't think she knows, Tony.
Oh,
I don't
she
think
knows
she
now.
knows.
She
Of
listens.
course she knows. I tell her every time I shit my pants. How is it, baby?
Every time.
Every time.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, so now that's why that's a standard question on the show.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we've got great answers though. We've got fantastic.
Is that like is that a fetish of yours that you
No.
like
Hey,
get
look,
off on?
Tony above you, the other Tony here. No, he shit his pants on Christmas morning, and he
Twice!
more prouder.
I've shit my pants twice on Christmas morning.
Wow.
Not in the same Christmas either. Different years.
Well, wow.
My last one was 2 years ago. We sat for breakfast. I lifted a cheek. I said, "Ooh, I gotta go to the bathroom."
Yeah, too late, huh?
That's all that
Wow.
pork roll he's eating.
Yeah, the pork roll. That's what it is.
I have some in my fridge right now, actually.
Right? I don't know when Brundo shit his pants, and Handsome Kevin, he's like a perfect angel. He never does anything wrong. You think
Been a
he's
couple
handsome?
of years.
Do you think he earned
He's
the
a very
nickname
handsome
Kevin?
guy.
Really?
Thank you,
Yes.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Bald is beautiful.
How do you feel about socks in the house?
I have socks on my feet now.
So do
Well,
I. Eat a
It's
shit,
been nice.
Kevin.
It's been nice, Tony. We'll one and done.
Wow, you cut me off just like that.
Don't listen to him. He's like the newest wizard. He doesn't have no credit. Right
But
now.
Tony, you put deodorant on after you take a shower, right?
Usually, most people do. Yeah.
Not this fucking heathen.
Well, does he not have deodorant?
Nope.
No.
Guy's batting 1,000 right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
No,
Yeah,
this always
there's
turns
some
into-
people like that natural scent. They don't
Well,
realize
it
that.
smells like a fucking pile of dog shit.
Yeah, like a wet puppy.
Now let me ask you this,
Write
Tony.
that down, Brundo.
Writing it down.
Because you're not shitting your pants. When you
Right.
do go to the bathroom, though, you definitely close the door when you take a shit, right?
Yeah, that's how I was
standard,
brought
yeah,
up.
yeah, exactly. It's bathroom etiquette. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Some things you just do.
This fucking
Right.
heathen lets the whole house know he's in the fucking grumper.
Wow.
The door right behind you. He'll take a break during the show. Leave the fucking door open.
You can't see the
Nice.
fucking toilet bowl.
We can hear you. Thank God we can't smell you.
I worked fucking
Wow.
my whole life to buy a house. If I'm gonna shit with the fucking door open, I'm gonna shit with the door open.
Yeah.
Nobody's home. Who's gonna walk in on me? The cats? Oh no! I come to
Yeah,
Minnesota.
if nobody's home.
Shitting with
What
the
the
door
hell?
open, handsome Kevin.
Well, Tony, this has been fantastic.
Yeah, this
Send-
is
send
an
Bay our
eye
love.
opener. Wow. Now I know why he left you guys for last on my podcast list. Because I would have never done another one.
Dude threatened to quit doing interviews on our show.
I think you're having fun, Tony.
Yeah, he's having a good
It's
time.
cool. It's cool. I like it.
You want to ask it generic, like where did you get started wrestling?
Yeah, where did you train? Who did you come up with?
Is this a legit question?
No.
Oh,
That's what we try to stay away from.
I'm sure Mike
but try to
Johnson
be
handled all that, but we don't do that shit around here.
all right. But I do have to say I give props to the guy who trained me. I was trained by Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah.
There you go.
And he trained me old school way, and that was the best way. I've seen so many guys over the years. Come back from a match, and God forbid a guy like stiffed him a little bit. They'd be like, "Oh, he punched me for real." Come on, dude. This ain't like friggin' badminton.
Right.
Put your
Tony,
big
let
girl
me ask you
panties
this
on and
question.
suck it up.
Right, we were just talking about Bam Bam Bigelow and LT before WrestleMania 11. Did
Mhm.
Bam Bam do an amazing job with LT at WrestleMania 11?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Eat a shit, handsome Kevin.
Right.
I didn't say anything bad
Yeah.
about Bam Bam. I said it was a bad match. LT sucked a dick.
Oh, yeah.
But he carried him as best he could. I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, hey, he got a nice payday for it.
I liked it. I liked it.
I loved it. Being a New
Yeah.
York guy, seeing one of the guys I grew up fucking watching on TV every
Yeah.
Sunday, it was awesome.
You know, it's funny with Bigelow. When after I know you used to try to stay away from standard questions, but I got to say this. So after 3 months of me training, he had his audition for WWF at the time. It was December 9th, 1985. So I'm only training 3 months. So Larry Sharp, that was the school we were at. He says, take a ride up with there, pack your stuff, and just when you're in the locker room, get a feel for what a professional locker room is. Keep your mouth shut, ears open. So as we're driving up, Scotty turns around to me. He says, when they ask who I'm going to work with, I want to work with you. Now I'm a friggin' buck 85. My hair, not quite as blonde. It's kind of like Ronald McDonald orange. It was bad,
Red
man.
Tyler.
It was bad. So we get up there, and they pull Scotty over to the board, and Pat Patterson's there, Freddie Blassie, all the agents. They're asking him who you want to work with. He says, I want to work with Tony. They turn and point. You want to work with that? I wasn't even a him. I was a that. So the coolest thing was, now I've never been in front of a crowd, although I can tell you a story that I did years ago, but it's different kind of wrestling.
Oh, you're not getting out of here without telling that story.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Finish
All
this.
right.
story.
All right. Yeah. What the hell? This is a fun kind of interview. So anyway, when I'm going up, so I go through the door. Now this is Poughkeepsie, New York. They're doing TV taping, so maybe like 3,000-4,000 people. As soon as I walk through the door, they're busting on me about my hair, and it looked bad, man. It was bad. So I wasn't nervous because I'm working with Scotty. So here comes Scotty out. He only had a little bit of flame on the front. And so they're busting on him. So as he gets in the ring, I'm looking across from him. I got to cover my face because I'm starting to laugh because this is just like another night in Monster Factory. So after Scotty kicked my ass all over the place, that was my job. That's what you did back then. That's called paying your dues.
Mm-hmm.
Then once we went back down, then that's when I started working for them. How I knew, I always thought I was kind of shy growing up. So before I got into wrestling, I was in the gym all the time. I just finished playing semi-pro football. I got burned out with that, and I was kind of like, oh, I got to do something. So me and my buddy used to go to this strip joint after we were trained, like on Wednesday nights. So they had this contest or whatever you want to call it, nude wrestling. So
That's a sport.
yeah, it was a sport, all right. So I said, come on, let's check this out. Let's see what it's all about. So we go and watch, and here they get somebody from the audience.
Are you moving out of earshot of your wife?
Well, she knows this story. No, she knows this story. It doesn't. Well, I was with my first wife at the time. This one's my third. So she knows all my history. So two women come out naked, and the dude's got to get naked. So I turned to my buddy. I said, "We'll come back next week. I'm going to do it." He said, "No, you're not." Now I'm in a gym 6 days a week. I'm in shape. So next week we'll go back. The guy says, "We have any before we even got the word volunteers out, my arm went up. Boom. Come on up. I went up on stage. Now, mind you, there's like 30 or 40 guys in there. They're all perverts. I guess I was a pervert too because I was there. And I just stripped down butt naked. And then these two women came out naked, and we were just rolling around. It wasn't hard. It wasn't a hardcore match.
Nope.
Well,
Was there blood the hard way, or was it the easy way?
yeah, it was the hard way. But I figured if I can get up in front of a bunch of people, butt ass naked, wrestling's no big deal, right?
You take any eyes out with that thing?
No, because no, I ain't that well gifted or blessed, but it was cool.
I can't even ask my follow-up Monster Factory question now. Like,
What is this pre-Monster Factory days?
Wow, you can't top that story. Like, what?
That's a good one, ain't it?
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
I also think it's fascinating that you got the Tony Stetson name because fucking Marvel Mouth Bruno Sammartino couldn't say your last name.
You know that? Yeah, that's right. Matteo. I said, "So that's not good." He's a paisan and he's butchering it.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise.
And then I was fishing for names, and then that back in the day, Stetson Cologne was big and popular. I never used it because it stunk. And one day it just said Stetson Fitz. There you have it.
For real, Bruno couldn't pronounce Jesus.
My last the pronunciation of my last name is Matteo.
Yeah.
He said Matteo. Too many, yeah. Like what is that? I said no.
He put a hyphen right in between it.
Yeah. So that was a wrap. And just to set the record clear, I didn't give myself the nickname Hitman. That was DC Dre came in at with the NWF. So I'm not one of these guys and tag yourself. That was given to me.
Good. That also answers another question that I had about.
Oh.
I didn't want to look like a fool asking it though, but it's huge.
Yeah, and the funny thing was that Don used to run the NWF, and we were doing TV tapings on a Saturday. As of that Friday, I was blonde, and then I realized I got to get rid of this. I had the blonde hair. It was past the Ronald McDonald stage. It was good blonde, but I had a black goatee, and I decided I got to get rid of this. And I buzzed my head that night, the day before the show, when I came in. That's when he told me. He didn't even know I got rid of the blonde hair. He said, your style, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to tag you with the Hitman. I said, that was cool.
That is cool. This has been a lot of fun, Tony. We appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to jump on the show, have a couple laughs with us. If you are in the tri-state area this weekend, get down to the 2300 Arena. Rasselcon is noon to 3:30. Then stay for one and done. The 2300 Arena is beautiful. It's a beautiful.
It is. It really is special.
It's definitely way different than when we were going to the ECW Arena.
Oh, it was a dump.
It'll be a great time. Oh my God, it was a shithole.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tony, anything before we let you go? Do whatever you do on a Monday night.
Well, being as old as I am, what time is it? It's a little after 8. I'm usually in bed in less than an hour. So,
all right,
smart man.
Nah, I'm kidding. I don't
know. These two fucks above you, they go to bed at like fucking 6.
You know what? One thing I'm kind of like disappointed, but not disappointed about the show Saturday. In the beginning, I thought I was going to be the oldest guy wrestling, but I'm not. Because Ricky Morton's 68 and Tommy Rich, I think, is 68. I'm just a mere 66.
Look great.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh, you got it.
That's because I'm on my third wife. The third time's the charm. Yeah.
There you go.
I went to the dark side of the street for this one.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, she's Bohemian.
Oh, nice.
Here, you want to hear a funny story? Wait, here's a funny story.
Yes, we do.
While we're just
please.
letting the cat out of the bag. So me and her got married, I was 60, she was 55. So my brother's trying to mock me, well, why would you want to marry him? You're his third wife, blah, 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 trying to be funny. I take the mic, I says, listen, no offense to my 3 kids, but the reason why my first 2 marriages failed was because they were white. And And then I hit the standard line. You know what they say? Once you go black, you never go back.
There it is. That's the move.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I appreciate you guys dragging me down to such a low point in my life right now. It's been amazing.
Yeah, we just opened the door. You jumped in with both feet,
No,
brother. Come
Yeah,
on.
you're right. You suckered me right in.
Come on,
It's all fun, man. Come on.
Yeah, it was cool. It was definitely different. I liked it.
Dude, much respect, man. This was awesome.
I appreciate
Absolutely.
you guys.
Open door policy, brother. Anytime you want to come back, hit us up.
Sounds
Let
good.
us know.
Sounds good. And
Kick
tell
some
that
ass
guy.
this weekend. Yeah.
Tell that guy. Well, the way I'm looking at it, he's on your left. I don't know if he's on your
This
right.
fucking hand job.
Tell
over
him.
here.
Tell him to get.
I can hear you. You know that, right?
Oh yeah. Then I'll tell you. Listen, maybe you should invest in like adult diapers.
Why?
Then you don't have to worry about washing anything out. You just throw them away. That's just, an older guy telling a younger guy, give him a little heads up.
Look at this guy.
Why do I want to throw them away?
You want to keep shitty diapers? What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Wow.
You gonna
Yeah,
wash
he's got
diapers in a porta potty?
Well, good luck with this guy.
Yeah.
It's about the Monster Factory.
The Monster Factory.
Sounds like it's in Double T's drawers.
Oh, no. Wow.
Well, if I didn't shit my pants, then this would be like a boring show.
Well, you can just say I shit my pull up.
I feel like pull-ups, but I don't shit my pants as often as they're making it seem.
You're making it sound like you do quite often.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. It's
He
quite a
did
bit,
say
Tony.
every time I shit my pants.
Wow.
I'm just, there might be somebody watching and listening who shits their pants way more than me.
Oh, there's always somebody. Well,
Oh,
some
he's in the
people
chat.
probably
I
like
see him in
doing
the
that.
chat.
Would you say he sleeps with a cat?
Yeah, he sleeps with the cat
That's
in the
exactly
chat.
what he said.
Oh, I see him in the chat.
Who?
Somebody.
Nope. Not going there.
I am. I'll go there. He's got the yellow logo.
Oh,
You threw me for a loop with that
comment
one.
there.
That ain't right.
Oh, that's not right. Well, we're throwing people under the bus.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I think you just made things really weird.
Yeah.
Why?
Are you?
How?
Who's he talking to?
I don't know. Tony, we got to go give him his fucking dementia pills.
Yeah.
Have a fucking fun weekend. Enjoy
Thanks,
yourselves.
guys. Appreciate you guys.
Anytime you want to come back, we'll make sure Double T's not here. We'll have a good
No,
old
Or
time.
I hope you
that'd
shoot your
be-
pants
yeah.
Saturday.
Oh, thanks a lot. And, if that happens, I'll save him. And where are you located?
Or I'm
North,
North Jersey. Look, if you shit your pants, tell Bay. We'll do a
A
address.
raffle?
No, you can send them to me. It'd be great.
You guys do
No,
like
I'll sign
a
him for it.
jersey swap of shitty
Yeah,
pants.
Yeah, there you go.
I love it. Like in the NFL.
Tony, how are you gonna sign it with like a skewer? Like, what are you gonna do?
Wow, that's a good point.
Like a
Well, I'm hoping
toothpick?
it don't happen. I'm not looking
I hope it
forward to
doesn't
that.
happen either.
You know what? Just to be safe, I'll load up on Imodians all week.
What if you
Yeah.
beat up the Michael dude and make him shit his pants?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
What if you shit in Mike dude's pants?
Well, and that's bizarre.
Don't fucking never forget the final show.
No.
Dude.
That'll be one and done for sure, man.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Yikes.
Tony, have a good night, brother. Be
All right,
well.
guys, take care.
Thanks
Blast.
again,
We'll
Tony.
talk soon, man. Be well. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Tony Hitman Stetson this weekend. TWA, one and done. Rasselcon, be there or be square.
Nice.
Whew. Man,
Fucking
fucking
evolved
beating.
so quickly.